First, talking a little bit about the meta before we get into the cards themselves. I don't want the monitor capture up quite yet. Bip. And let's make a list here. No idea what time. No idea. And I wish they would just do it Wednesday right after the economy stream. I mean, today after the economy stream, but guess that's going to not happen. So if you guys have any suggestions on new decks, I guess I'll list some of the old ones that I think have a good chance of still being around. This is not big enough at all. How's that? Seems okay. Let's give it a background so you guys can see it. Boop. All right. I think these were the two strongest decks. You can convince me otherwise. I mean, not really. No, you can't. Hanzo's mono red was pretty fun. Funny that you talk about that, Bees. I was mono red. It was pretty good. Like, I played it the first time and I ran through like 5 people super fast, and then I played it the second time and I got beat by red-green dinos and something else. I don't know. Currently, I think it's a pretty sweet deck for Arena because it's so fast that if you're just worried about grinding or whatever, you can get the grind out really fast and be done with it. Also, it's so fast that people don't really have time to timer troll you. They're dead before they know what happened. And hopefully they don't have full control on and they just have nothing to play, so it automatically passes their turn and you just win. So functionally, in terms of grinding, it might be the best deck in Arena right now. But after a timer... What?
It has like Chinese words on the bottom.
Okay, I'll try to fix that. 1 second, guys. It's another frickin' snow day here, which means school is off again. So I was really hoping to settle in and be pretty free with this stream, but everyone's home, so it's going to be, I might have to pop out for a second here and there. I don't know, am I missing anything? I don't think Red Black Pirates was that good. I don't think... I mean, I saw some like red blue burn control and some red white burn control. All right, Shard, thanks for stopping by. I know you are a busy fellow. And we can go over those Fourier transforms another day. some infinite sums. I'm wondering, are you just looking at Fourier transforms like purely mathematically, or you're looking from an engineering point of view where you need DFTs and DTFTs and stuff like that? Because from a mathematical standpoint, it's not. I think it's easier because you can do infinite sums and stuff a little bit easier in math than you can in engineering. So you don't really have to worry about discrete Fourier transforms, which I found to be much more confusing. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Anyway, just wanted to nerd out with Shard there for a second. Let's move on. I don't think there's really, I mean, all right, vamps. Vamps were a thing. So we're going to call this old meta. And all right, you got to use both. Well, I can't remember it right now. Do you know it? I think it's e to the negative I omega nt, perhaps over capital N. I forget exactly what the transform was. All right, new meta. Here we go. Well, I think we all know Vamps and Merfolk are going to be played a lot. I'm not going to talk too much about these decks today. I really think these decks are going to just take some trying to find the actual balance of what you need to put in and what you need to not put in. And so theory crafting a deck seems a little silly to me, when it's better just to get them in there and see what's working and what's not, because they basically build themselves up to a certain point. And then you have to make a few choices, and I think those you'll just have to find out for yourself what's actually working. Yep, explore. I think it'll probably just be black-green, but I could be wrong. I think mono black is going to be a thing. It's something I'm looking forward to playing, and I think it's going to be really strong. So you might see me on a lot of mono black. Red blue pirates got a big pump. Maybe they'll be good. I still think black blue. Oh shoot, I don't know how to spell. Red blue. And then blue black. It's so confusing. Did I write it right up there? I did write it right up there. All right, that's good. Oh, we are off the sheet here. I don't know really if there's any way to do this any other way, so we'll just shrink it. You getting skin shifted? I'm not putting skin shifter here, bees. I would like to see a Revell deck. I don't know how much of a joke this is or not. It would basically be black-red control. I'll put control decks here because I just don't know how good they'll be, but I think white-blue control is a possibility. A pure Ascend deck? I don't think so. There's definitely Dino and Rage. That should be a thing. Naya Dinosaur. I think there's just a lot of payoff for Naya Dinosaurs. So I think people are going to work hard to make it happen. Whether or not a 3-color deck like that is possible in a consistent fashion, I'm not sure, but you do have Commune with Dinosaurs, which is pretty good at finding lands. You do have Drovers, which gives you any color. There's Aztecan Seer, but I don't think that card is going to make the cut. And oh, and there's the new ramp card, and that can find you any color land. So there's a lot of ways to smooth your land early. Like if you played Commune turn 1 and that ramp card turn 2, your mana would be pretty much fixed, depending on what kind of you know, depending on what you're going for. I don't know. I think it's there. We'll probably talk about some of those synergies and combos later on. I think mono green. Dino seems pretty good. I think Ascend is something to consider, but I don't think it's a full deck by itself. What else? Is this it? Is this it, people? Is this all we got? It's a lot. Now this might be the same as Red Blue Pirates, but favorable wins. I saw someone playing a really sweet favorable wins deck in Standard, but they were playing cards that aren't in Ixalan or Rivals, which are Skyship Plunderer and Nimble Obstructionist. Skyship Plunderer plus Stormfleet Aerialist is pretty sweet. Yeah, I think mono green's going to get a lot better. I think this is pretty good list to start off on. All right, let's start playing around with some cards, see what fun stuff we can come up with. I see, because there's no lightning strike. Definitely 4 stomps. Maybe the pounces. Nature Way can work out pretty well. I know it's expensive, but it gives vigilance, right? And that vigilance might go a long way with a big creature. If you can kill and attack. Oops. Oh, I don't think that's the card we got. We got the 4-drop, right? Let's see. I don't think Hunt the Weak. Yeah, I don't like Hunt the Weak. I thought it was Nature's Way. All right. So this new meta is kind of annoying here. Maybe we can just stuff it on the side. Stuff it over here in the corner. And shrink it some. Sure. Looks okay. All right. As I said, I don't want to build any decks, but we're going to start off with Merfolk. And there's just a few little things I want to talk about with Merfolk. And this is basically going to be Merfolk spells. Or spells that I'd consider running in Merfolk. Yo, bees! Thanks for those bits. Yeah! Ricks. Crashing Tide. I guess I don't need to put 4, since we're not actually building the deck. But we do need to put 1. Bid Boss Hype. Admiral's Order. 1. So these might be the only 2 spells I would consider playing in... I guess I'm going to have to mention this, but... I don't know. I don't know if this card makes the cut anymore. You guys tell me. Oops. River Herald's Boon. Is it still a good card? Is it good enough? So here's the deal. Here's why I like playing just Crashing Tide and Admiral's Order. This is, of course, for a very aggressive Merfolk deck, where you're playing a bunch of 1-drops and you are attacking every turn, perhaps with a lot of unblockables. Yeah, I'll show Admiral's Order again. Admiral's Order is super nice against Settle, which you got to be worried about. No, I don't want to peek at that. I'll wait till I hear it from the horse's mouth later today. It's not going to change really anything in my life, and I don't want to believe in something that might be wrong. The card that kind of makes me want to play just these 2 spells and not River's Herald's Boon is Swift Warden. So as you can tell, these are all 3-drops. And I was really wondering, like, when I reviewed Swift Warden, I wasn't sure if it's good or not because I was like, when in a Merfolk deck are you going to want to hold up 3 mana and do nothing? They'll know you have Swift Warden. Well, now I think if you're playing these 2 spells, holding up 3 mana seems pretty darn good. And you get the hexproof. I know a lot of people will say that we had a similar card in Duels and it never saw any play, Void Grafter. Or maybe they won't say that, but I mean, the reason this is better than Void Grafter is because it's a Merfolk. And that's a pretty good reason. So I don't know, this is a pretty good turn 3. It's maybe even like a better turn 4. But being able to hold up 3 mana, you got a cancel in hand. That also has the extra ability of saving you from Settle the Wreckages, which if you're doing this kind of Merfolk deck, you're going to be attacking every turn, so you don't want to have to start attacking with half your creatures because you're worried about a Settle. And Crashing Tide, which is just a repulse if you have Merfolk. Do you have to reveal a Merfolk or just have a Merfolk in play? As long as you control a Merfolk. I don't know. Seems like a sweet little synergy here. One more spell I would like to talk about for Merfolk is... shoot. Well, first let's look at it here. Expel from Erazka. I think if you wanted a 2-drop spell, I would consider this, though I think Perilous Voyage is better in the Merfolk deck. In a control deck, I like Expel better currently, but of course I've never played with it. But I think the Scry 2 in a Merfolk deck could be super important for just staying really on a tight, powerful curve. And this does not get it there. This has more of a long game. But tell you the truth, I don't know if Merfolk makes it to Ascend too often unless they're on the turn they win. Which I don't think is enough. don't know. I like Perilous Voyage better. I don't know if I can bring up 2 sets at once here. I don't think I can. Yeah, it doesn't know. It doesn't know how to do that. All right, that's fine. So that's all I'm going to say about the Merfolk for now. We're not going to build a full Merfolk deck. And we're not going to build a full Vamp deck unless that's what chat wants at the end of the day, and then we can try to work our way through it. Let's just get on to synergies and combos and see what you guys think. Some of these are definitely Dreamland. Some of these you might make use of. All right, this one is pretty far out there, so we'll start with that. Tillinolly Summoner. Oh boy. Which is the one? Path of Discovery? What's this? No. Yeah. I think maybe it's an artifact. Maybe that's what's wrong here. No. Double face. That's what it is. Azor's Gateway. It is an artifact, but it didn't come up in artifact. I guess because it's double face and that takes priority. All right. This card gives you a bunch of land, and Tillinolly's Summoner uses that land. It's about the only card I think that is a kind of mana dump. I don't know. It's out there, but you could use Azor's Gateway to find the Tillinolly Summoner. I don't know. It's the best place to dump mana that I can think of. And it's Tillin Bees. We can even bring in his friends. The Skin Shifter. You know, this is pretty nice because Tillinolly's Summoner is a 1/1 and very fragile. But Tillinolly's Skin Shifter is not legendary. So maybe this works. Turn 3 Skin Shifter. Then you play Tillinolly Summoner turn 4 and attack with Skin Shifter, changing it into the Summoner and doing all the Summoner things. If it dies, fine, because you still have the Summoner to do it again. And 2 attacks like that is probably too much. Now, of course, turn 4 is not too much. But if you get Azor's Gateway going, then just 1 attack is probably enough. And once again, you can use the Gateway to find Skin Shifters and Summoners. Of course, Fiery Cannonade is just super terrible. Or super good. I'm pumped for Fiery Cannonade being a lot stronger. Get ready. Also, folks, if we do get the update tomorrow, and you don't get a lot of cards, keep in mind enchantments are going to be really good for a while until people catch up with enough removal. Because when the arena first came out, there was very little removal, and enchantments like One with the Wind were super duper strong. Then once people started packing a bunch of removal, the enchantments fell off a bit. But yeah, man. Get out there and play some enchantments early before people pack all the good cards, and then we can move on. Speaking of enchantments, all right, let's clear this out. This one I poo-pooed a bit in my review, only because I misread the card. I thought this card was a loot effect, but this card is most definitely a draw effect. It also gives your creature +1/+1. Let me close the door really quick here. And it only costs 1. So oh, that was Shard who came in there. I thought Bees posted that. Shard was supposed to be gone. So I think, yeah. Miscloaked Herald, dropping Curious Obsession on it. Maybe playing another Miscloaked Herald or Communist Speaker. I mean, all you need is one attack, and this card is basically paid for itself. You're losing out on tempo by 1 mana. You get 2 attacks in, and you are already in Valueville. So I was saying that Merfolk would only maybe run those 3 spells. Sack if no attack sucks, but not if you have evasion. Miscloaked Herald always attacks. And you can even put this on a flyer, like Warkite Marauder. Turn your Warkite Marauder into a 3/2. Take out every other flyer in the air using its ability. Swing in. Value. I mean, once again, you only need 1 or 2 attacks to have had this card pay for itself. So, I don't know. I think this is a 4 of in perhaps a lot of decks. Red-Blue Pirates. Some Merfolk variants. I don't know. This Curious Obsession is definitely worth playing with. And if it goes unchecked, you draw 4 cards off of it or something stupid like that. I don't know. Seems good, man. Seems like it'll find its way into a tier 1 deck. That's my prediction for Curious Obsession. All right, let's talk some Dino synergies now. These are kind of out there. I don't know how to spell siege, do I? Nope. Siegehorn Ceratops and Tillinali's Crown. Let's bring up Siegehorn again. Siegehorn is a 2/2 for green-white. Yes, you do, Bees. I think it definitely goes in either of those decks. And you get 2 counters on it when it's enraged. And then Tillinali's Crown does 1 damage to the creature it's enchanted, which enrages the Siegehorn Ceratops. And it gives it +3/+0 and trample. So on turn 3, if you play this on your Siegehorn Ceratops, you have a 7/4 trampler on turn 3. That's attacking. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Granted, you need 3 colors of mana on turn 3, all of which somehow comes into play untapped. Well, turn 1, you could play a tap mana. Yes, we are, man. We are just sitting here brewing, trying to get everybody ready for the new cards, trying to steal everyone's ideas for myself. That's the sub goal. The secret goal. Yeah, Tillinelli's crown is very interesting too because it does deal 1 damage. Super difficult, Cobra. I'm not saying these combos are easy or even viable. I'm just throwing them out there, so hopefully other people will have some brewing ideas and they'll give it a try. I think Wed is rather open. What's Wed? Red? Yeah, I mean, Drover gets you there, but Drover gets you there on maybe turn 4. It's possible to attack with the 7/4 Trampler on turn 3 here, which is pretty brutal. I'm wondering if Raging Swordtooth is going to be just gain a ton of value. Like, Raging Swordtooth was okay. We talked about control. Do you think it's good, Cobra? Jeskai control is my favorite deck to play. I'll throw it up there. I don't think anyone really takes control that seriously in the current meta, even though I feel like my winning percentage is pretty good. But I'm not sure people take it seriously, and I'm not sure if they're supposed to. Oops. Oh, did I just lose it all? No. I don't think so. Thought I almost lost it all there. That would have sucked. Controls are one of the few decks where I think 3 colors is okay. All right, good enough. I'm worried mostly about black-white control, to tell you the truth. Yeah, I should have put control decks in the new meta. Black-white just seems no fun to play against at all. 0 fun. But as I said earlier in my videos on the previous arena meta, I really think if you really want to play control, you have to be playing search. And I'm not sure much has changed with the new cards in that front. So pretty much be playing Esper control just for search. Yeah, you and CGB both, Cobra Hand. I have 5 settles that are all disappearing tomorrow. Search is just, yeah. Search is really good, and it's the best way to get ahead in control decks. So, yeah, I think Esper you should be worried about, because I think black-white by itself is terrible. And then if you're just splashing for search and maybe some cancels or something, which is pretty much what I was doing in Jeskai. I guess I was doing some Perilous Voyage, but I would probably end up playing Expel to Erazka. Nope. Maybe we'll see stuff on stream. Welcome to Stream Ninja.
Yeah.
We'll see. I feel like it's not going to be enough for anyone, no matter how much they give us. All right. As I was saying, okay, what else is there? There's a lot of weird ones. So Swordtooth works great with Ceratops. And there's also the one that does 5 damage. What's that one? Needletooth Raptor. Like, I thought it was going to be a pain to trigger these enraged creatures that only have 2 toughness. But once I remembered Raging Swordtooth, and I remembered because someone played it against me yesterday night, and the Forerunner also pings for 1. I don't know, man. Needletooth Raptor is pretty sweet. It's kind of like a must-be-dealt-with situation. You got to get that thing off the board, because if they can just start pinging it every turn, sure, there's some creatures that'll survive, but not that many. 5 damage is a lot. Like, I thought a 2/2 body for 4 is just out of the question, but I'm not sure it is. I'm not sure it is. Also, speaking of all this, there is this card, which I have to... Sadly, I haven't played with these enough to know all the names, so I have to keep looking them up. And there we go. Radiant Destiny. I think, yeah, Naya Dinos is a good place for this card. This also makes all your Needletooth Raptors a 3/3 instead of a 2/2. Your Siegehorn Ceratops starts out as a 3/3 instead of a 2/2, which means they can take damage better and their rage is easier to trigger and they're less fragile. Ugh, Shard. Ugh, don't say that stuff. Don't say that stuff. No economy talk. No economy talk. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the stream today. I don't want to get my hopes down or up. But I think this card is going to be very good in Naya Dinosaurs. It's also good maybe in favorable winds decks. It's also good in Vamp decks. I was talking about this with Ninja on stream and talking about whether Vanquisher's Banner is better. I saw people playing this and it is tough. Like if you're doing an aggro strategy, this card's on point. It comes out so fast and pumps so quickly. And it's splashable. Pretty splashable with only 1 white cost. I think you're going to see this card a lot in a lot of different decks. I don't think you're splashing white for Merfolk here. But favorable winds decks with maybe blue-white cards would take this. Yeah, Immortal Sun is kind of a fun of. Well, it's definitely a fun of. But maybe in ramp decks I would play Immortal Sun. I think it's an okay card as a ramp deck. Or maybe a fantastic card in a ramp deck, actually. Let's say you play this turn 4. Then everything you play is costing 1 less. You're drawing an extra card. Your creatures are getting pumped. You just start dropping just huge bombs every turn. Maybe 2 a turn. Green-white dinos is a thing. That would make that Siegehorn, but then you wouldn't be able to play the Crown. I don't know. I think people are going to try hard for Naya Dinosaurs. And if they just can't get a consistent enough mana base, they'll probably switch to green-white or back to red-green. Yeah, we didn't really get... We got 2 Planeswalkers, was it? Neither of which frightened me enough that I think there's going to be some kind of thing like Super Friends. Got Angrath and Hawatli. Yeah. I like Angrath, I think, more than most people. And Hawatli's kind of meh. I mean, I could see a Jund perhaps explore Planeswalker thing, where you play Angrath turn 5 and Vraska turn 6. Or hopefully before that. Sun against control is strong, but an Ixalan binding does the job if you're playing white. Thrashing Brontodon does the job if you're playing green. All right. Well, since we're on Angrath, let's talk about sacking stuff. Angrath, get in there. This lets you sack an opponent's creature. If it's 3 or less, I don't know. Let's get them all out there, and then we can talk about how we're going to figure this out. Thrashing Brontodon does it by itself. Temple of Alcatraz gets there. Captain Hook. And we already have things like Hijack. So, I mean, there's some things here. There are some things here. I'm not saying, and perhaps the biggest payoff of all of these cards. Journey to Eternity, which is one reason you might want sack. I don't think there's going to be a tier 1 deck, but these are some things you can do if you want to steal and sack creatures. And there's so many creatures in this format that stealing and sacking doesn't seem that terrible. Yeah, Dragon Soul Summit comes into play untapped if you have a land. What I really think is that this is... I'll get rid of this. Oh, why did I do that? I think there's a lot of possibilities here for draft. I'm not a big fan of drafting 2 colors, pack 1, pick 1. But Journey might get there. If there's nothing else that good, I would pack 1, pick 1 Journey. As far as 2 color things go, I'd rather, if I had to pick a 2 color pack 1, pick 1, I'd rather choose Profane Procession. But Journey is a possibility of pack 1, pick 1. When an enchanted creature dies, return to the battlefield under control. No, I wouldn't think so, because it says, then return Journey Eternity to the battlefield transformed. Well, no, they both go to the graveyard at the same time. Like, you have to sack it first. So then I guess what I would say is if you could order your own triggers, then you should be able to get it back. If you can't order your own triggers, then you might not. Because you should be able to decide I don't know. I think you should go to the graveyard first. I think they both should go to the graveyard before the remove artifact trigger goes on, resolves. Anyone else in chat? Any judges out there have an opinion on that? Anyway, if you pick Journey to Eternity early in draft, I think there's a good chance you're going to get a Captain's Hook. Like, my guess is Captain's Hook is a very late pick in draft. So I really think this deck is kind of buildable. I still wouldn't pick it too highly, but maybe if you're all in on this plan, you have to pick the hook highly. But generally, I think these things are going to be hanging around for a long time in draft pods. So it's pretty easy. Maybe you pick up a hijack along the way. That's also probably going to come super duper late in a draft. So that's one reason I would consider picking Journey early, even though it is 2-color. Of course, you don't want to really play hijacking Journey in draft. That's a ridiculous mana base. But maybe Journey and Angrath, you could do 3-color. Like, if you could pick one Angrath, pick 2 Journey, I might be in for that plan. Chupacabra. I think people like Chupacabras in most decks, at least ones that play black. If you don't play black, Chupacabra is not as good. Now, there might be a few more sack outlets or creatures you can sack. Oh, I guess you can sack the Atsakan Seer. Now our color base is just getting terrible. But it's a possibility. It kind of fixes itself at the same time. Da, 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 da. I should be crossing these off. Maybe I'll put a check mark by them. We're almost ready for my favorite subject of the day, but we're not going to do it yet. We're going to go through a few more synergies here. Let's see. Here's a fun one. Prefer to do the off-the-wall ones first a little bit. Let's clear this out. Form of the Dinosaur. Release to the wind. It works. Get 15 life back. Back to 15 life every time you release it to the wind. Play Form of the Dinosaur. Maybe you have 2 release to winds. Like every other turn, you reset Form of the Dinosaur. Release to the wind is freaking instant. So pretty much anytime your life total is in jeopardy, you can just cast it immediately. Can you? Or can you only cast it on your main phase? Maybe you'd only be able to cast it on your main phase. Oh no, we really need a judge in this chat. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. I guess that would have to be main phase, so you can't really get out of a whole bunch of trouble. But you could definitely cast Release to the Wind end of opponent's turn and then form a Dinosaur immediately at the beginning of the next turn, which is pretty good. Shard said he was super busy today. Is he the closest thing to a judge that we got? I agree. I don't know. I want to do something with Form of the Dinosaur. This is the best I got. It's not great, but it's something. I mean, you can use Perilous Voyage and stuff too. Is Perilous Voyage only opponent? You don't control. What is Expel? Now that's a little tricky point too there, folks. Yo, Unknown.
Yeah.
What's up, man? How's that monk deck going? Anyways, that's the difference that I didn't notice before between Perilous and Expel, and that's that Expel can do any card, and Perilous Voyage only does a card you don't control. Keep that in mind, folks, when you're making the decision whether you want to play Expel from Erazka or Perilous Voyage. This is also instant, as is Perilous Voyage. So this could make it in two. Like, if you're just all in, I'm bouncing this Form of the Dinosaur. Maybe you're doing this. I'm not sure Form of the Dinosaur is that good. At the end, it's good. I think, yeah, I don't know. At the end, it's good at locking your opponent out because they basically have to play 2 creatures a turn. And that's just tough. Yeah, I don't know. This, I think, would be a Jeskai deck. I think you want Ixalan's Binding in here. I'm not sure you can do anything that great with Ixalan's Binding with Release to the Wind and Expel, but you can do some stuff. Yeah, man, we'll see. It's a snow day here, and so my kids are not at school. So I don't quite have as much free time as sometimes I do. But I appreciate the work, and we will get a chance to play it sometime. All right, this combo is clearly out there. And while we're talking about being out there, let's move on to Brass's Bounty. I don't know, man. Why would that be like that? Brass's Bounty gives you a lot of treasure. And you know what card likes a lot of treasure? Revell in Riches. Keep in mind that Revell in Riches says whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, make a treasure. There's also, let's see, Pitiless? This does the opposite, but this makes a bunch of treasure if you can kill. And then we just put in a bunch of kill spells. I mean, you could just fill your deck with nothing but kill spells besides, like, Brass's Bounty, Revell in Riches, and maybe Pitiless Plunderer, though that doesn't really work unless you got other creatures that you want to die. I played some Revel and Riches. I've won with Revel and Riches. Take that. Only once. Another thing you could run is Trove here. If you really wanted all in on this strategy, I would probably run Trove. Trove, Revel, Brass's Bounty, and then just nothing but removal. I agree, Ninja. You beat him most of the time, but when do you win in Revel? Upkeep? Beginning of your upkeep. And Brass's Bounty is a sorcery, so you got to survive a turn. But I think if you're doing things right, like, you're just killing things, man. What's the one? Moment's Grasp? Yeah. Moment of Craving. I don't know, man. I don't think it's that hard. Look at this deck. I mean, what do you... It's got answers to pretty much any creature. It's got a win con. As well as maybe a few Chupacabras and Pitiless Plunders that can just clock eventually. Bonus Hunger looks really good to me. At instant speed, it's looking really good to me. I mean, it is a sack effect, but like in this deck, if you have Moment's Grasp and Lightning Strike, you already killed their little crappers, whatever they are. So by the time you play Bonus Hunger, you're probably catching something big. Though it might just be a Chupacabra that already killed one of your creatures or something. But just remember, every time you kill one of their creatures, you get a treasure. If you have Trove out, you get a treasure every turn. And if you're killing all their creatures, they don't really have anyone to attack. I don't know, man. I'm going to play this deck. I'll tell you that right now. I will be winning with Revel more than I did last set. Of course, that's only more than once, but you know, this deck probably loses to a Carnage Tyrant or Gulta, but if you got Bonus Hunger, maybe not. Here's another thing you could play. A card that I'm very high on for this new format. Can sweep all their 2-drops, then play Bonus Hunger. You could do that all at instant speed for 6 if you wanted to. Yeah, I mean, Brass's Bounty is not a 4 of. But, I don't know. I'm playing Brass's Bounty in my version. Maybe a version without Brasses will be better, but I mean, this deck looks pretty good. I don't... Like, you don't want to get your Revel and Riches binded. Of course, then you're in trouble, and I'm not sure there's any way to deal with that in red-black. Like, that would be the card that... It would be Carnage Tyrant and Ixalan's Binding would be the two... I think so, for sure, Bees. With all the Merfolk and Vamps running around, Fiery Canyon, I think, goes way up. And is definitely main deckable in control decks. It's cheap. It could wipe the board completely. Yeah, I think you got to watch out for that. And of course, we all know the card that went way down, which I didn't even mention putting in this deck. Maybe it would be a sideboard card. But this thing has plummeted in value, even though there is no value, because they're all getting wiped, so they're basically valueless. But Anyway, I thought this deck was pretty janky, but now that we built it a little bit, this looks pretty good. All right. Should we get on to Tetzelmock shenanigans since he's out? And Ninja's talking about him? I keep saying Tetzelmock, but it's Tetzelmock. Anyway, this card is good. And one of the reasons it's good is because, as opposed to most other Elder Dinosaurs, you get value the second you cast it. None of the others do that for you. And by cast, I mean ETB, of course. Also, what this does is give people a black dinosaur. So one card I'm very interested in this set is Grim Captain's Call. I think this is probably most at home in a red-green deck. I mean, black-green deck. But you could play this in mono black. You wouldn't get the Merfolk, but you could get a pirate, you could get a vamp, and you could get a dinosaur. And that's pretty good value. I think this is more at home in red-green, but let's just look. Like if you're playing mono black, there's a few really nice vamps that you could think about playing. Not so much Champion of Dust. You're going to play Dire Fleet Poisoner. Actually, you're going to play, well, you might play Kitesail Freebooter and Dire Fleet Poisoner. Seem like pretty good pirates to play. I saw people running Golden Demise. That was working out well for them. I'll have to see. I didn't put that in the deck we just showed, but where is that? Oh, Chupacabra, of course, but that can't get you that. Where is that card? Twilight Prophet. There's your vamp. There might be, I don't know if there's many other black vamps that are that great. You could do something like a Vicious Conquistador. You could maybe do like an Oathsworn Vampire. Or Dust Legion Zealot. Dust Legion Zealot might not be so bad. Just draw a card. Try to get the value train going. I think Twilight Prophet is just great in this deck. You don't need any vamps at all for this card to be good. I really like its body. It actually kind of holds up well to Slaughter the Strong. Like in a weird way, creatures without much power are kind of good because I'm very worried about Slaughter the Strong. It's not legendary. And it's card draw, which you kind of need in this black deck because you don't, I don't know, you don't need card draw, but card draw is great. Another black card you could play for card draw would be Ruin Raider. I think that's an excellent pirate. I mean, this deck looks pretty good. I'd like to play Grim Captains in here, but getting back a Tetzelmock, not so bad. Getting back a Touchlamok, Twilight Prophet, and Kite Sail Freebooter or Poisoner seems great. Yeah, I don't know. I like this deck. I think this is the way you guys start. Let's look at the Ixalan black cards. See what they got. Pretty much garbage. Maybe Bloodcraze Paladin. Deadeye Tracker I would consider playing. Along with Direfleet Ravager is a pretty sweet pirate. I guess I'm looking for Fathomfleet Captain. Oh, I like the black pirates, but I don't love the black vamps, right? Sanctum Seeker's not really good. Seeker Squire's a human scout, which you can't get. Yes, I think the vamps will be good, but we don't know, man. This is all brainstorming today and conjecture. Welcome to the stream, David Lau.
Yeah.
It seems like vamps have the tools. Though mono white might be better. Yeah, there's not much here. Vicious Conquistadors. Wanted Scoundrels. I don't think you want to play Wanted Scoundrels because you're trying to value, and giving them 2 treasures not very value friendly. Oh, there is one more card I wanted to mention for this mono black deck. I would definitely play an Arch or 2. Is the flip side legendary? Oh no, it's not even legendary. I'd probably play 2. You might even be able to get away with 2 Field of Ruin, 2 Arch of Erazka if you're playing nothing else but swamps. None of these casting costs are too terrible. Like, it looks like you need double black by turn 4. I think if you have 20 swamps and 4 other cards, you should be able to get that pretty easily. I think that's a Bees host, probably. Thank you, Bees. That's what that is. Oh, CGB with the host.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Hosting just in time to see what I think is going to be my favorite deck to play around with in the new meta. So probably not run Grim Captain's Call. But it'll look something like this. And it's going to be sweet. But let's work more with Grim Captain's Call and move this deck over to green. So the number 1 Merfolk that I would probably add to make Grim Captain's Call full value is our friend the Jade Light Ranger. Because who doesn't want to cast this guy twice? Probably the best green Merfolk to put in a Grim Captain's Call deck. Branch Walker would be fine too. Let's cut these guys. The thing is, I just don't know. Like, I kind of want to be able to do Grim Captain's Call and Explore, and I think that might be stretching it too much. Or maybe just Explore is fine. It's just you don't go all in on Wild Growth Walker. So you get a Vamp, and you'd probably put in Poisoner still. Or Freebooter. Or both. They might still both be good enough, even in yeah, I guess if we were just doing Grim Captain's Call. Yeah, people like Jade Light, but that's because Standard has Winding Constrictor. And Jade Light plus Winding Constrictor is pretty crazy. You could put a Poisoner in here, but if you wanted to try to do, let's try to do the Explore plus Grim Captain's Call. I think you'd want Deadeye Tracker. It's a decent Explore card, and it's a 1-drop. And then we can move to the controversial Tomb Robber, who might get its most value out of a Grim Captain's Call deck, because if you're pitching creatures, you can get them back with Grim Captain's Call. Like if you're pretty far from Twilight Prophet, or maybe you have 2 Tetzlamox in hand, you pitch one, explore. There you go. So this might be the kind of deck for Tomb Robber. I don't know if other people have anything in mind. Probably the best use that I can think of, at least at the moment. What else are we exploring with? There's not that many good Explore cards, which is why I never played Explore. I mean, is this it? Is this it? I will say that, what's that green card? Path of Discovery. I don't think you'd play this in a constructed deck. But I want to tell you guys, this thing is a limited bomb. It's pretty easy to splash. And it's just so much value. In limited, I think this card is really good. I should pick kind of highly. If every creature that comes into combat gives you +1/+1, or you just getting through your land twice as fast as your opponent, it prevents flood, it makes your thing stronger. I think this thing is an absolute bomb. And would be worth splashing for if you were playing 2 other colors. I gotta go to the bathroom, guys. 1 second. I bet Cobra. Yeah, I think it's for real in terms of limited. Absolutely for real. And this card I think could actually be good in an Explore deck. This actually let's do this first. I think to play that card, you'd have to be full in on the Explorer, in which case you're playing Wild Growth Walker. But Enter the Unknown, I think, is good. Or decent. And mostly it's from that second text line, which says you may play an additional land this turn. If you're playing Wild Growth Walker, you know, this is great. You could play it on Wild Growth Walker itself or just any other creature. And you get to play an additional land on the turn. So that's pretty sweet ramp. And if you're playing full Explore, you're going to have lots of lands in hand. Yep. We will find out, CGB. I don't know either. And then I did shout this out on the Rick's review stream. Wayward Swordtooth, I think, is a decent card in your Explore deck. And perhaps could take the place of something like Wild Growth Walker, which is a little more dependent on exploring right then. It has the same characteristic as, boy, I already forgot the name of that card. Enter the Unknown, which you can play additional lands on each of your turns. Which makes me think that you could get to ascend pretty fast and have a 5/5 body pretty fast here. It's also a dino, so it works well with Grim Captain's Call. You might not be able to get back Tetslamock, but getting back a Wayward Swordtooth is still value. I don't know. I think I'll start off with my Explore decks and play like one Grim Captain's Call or two for fun ofs and just see how it performs. I mean, it does seem like a slow turn, but hopefully you get back 3 creatures and then you actually get to play one. You get to play Grim Captain's Call and a Jade Light Ranger and a Twilight Prophet. To me, the Explore deck is kind of just the value deck. And of course, you just fill this up with the same removal we mentioned before. The same black removal, Vona's Hunger, Moment's Grasp. I don't think that's what it's called. I can't remember what that's called. And Tetslamock is removal. Chupacabras probably make it in there. Luckily, you can't get Chupacabra back with Grim Captain's Call. All right. Let's do one more and then we'll do the big synergy combo. Let's do Oh man, I guess we did most of them. Oh, we did them all already. We pretty much did them all. So we're going to do this. We're just going to wow, really timed Stream Navigator. That's how you're going to display in full Japanese. This card is purely for the funds, but you can possibly take infinite turns if you have 2 of these in hand. And infinite turns is worth discussing. The only way to like assure infinite turns is that these are the last 2 cards in your deck. Or the last 1 card in your deck. So you may be able to have Sanguine Sacrament too, as long as you can draw 2 cards a turn. Which if you're doing this combo, you probably can. But, you know, it's pretty straightforward. You can sack 1 to gain a turn. Then you play another one that turn. So that there's always 1 without Summoning Sickness. And you just tap, 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 tap. And you take infinite turns, and hopefully you can win the game then. Look at Bees scrambling to defend himself. CGB's got him cornered. I like this a lot. A lot of things are going to die a lot, but like I don't think that's a good reason not to play something. Like, what was that card we were just looking at? The 2/4 Twilight Prophet. This card is very decent, man, and it's got that 4 toughness, so it's over Lightning Strike. People are like, oh, you're going to play it and it's going to die right away. Well, something has to die. The idea is to keep playing out high value cards like this until they run out of removal, and then you just start getting value off of them. So I think the argument like, oh, it's going to die is a little overdone here. No offense, Ninja, but I mean, Wild Growth Walker is a super target for Explore. But as you saw, I mean, there's so many good cards in Explore now, or there's more good cards, that maybe it's not unimaginable they'd want to kill something else. But I think this card is good, and it's not legendary. Just jam it. And it's not like Ruin Raider where you die when you have it out. You gain life. I think this card's going in any deck that I have black in. I think I'm gonna try to play this card. Flyer too. That's pretty nice. Stalls out the flyers. Yeah, stream should be good. Am I dropping frames? No. 0 drop frames. Omega Bees is now off stream, CGB. You chased him out. You chased him out and he couldn't even face chat anymore. Anyway, I'm very high on Twilight Prophet. Having 2 out is even better than having 1. Having 3 out is even better than having 2. You can't go wrong. All right. I did want to say one thing. God, keep misspawning that. Ixalan. I don't think Seeker Squire makes it in the deck. In the Explore deck. Oh, by the way, Explore deck should be definitely playing Veraska. Okay. I mean, I think that's your goal. That's your top end. That's where you try to get Tetslamak and Veraska. My kid's movie just finished. Give me 1 second to reset their movie. Stupid snow days. I don't know if Seeker Squire is good enough for Explore anymore. Though of all the Explore cards, besides Merfolk Branchwalker, it is the second best from Ixalan. Like these guys. There is a black one. That explores, but I think it's terrible. Which one is it? Dire Fleet Interloper. Like, I don't think you want to play this just to get a pirate in for a Grim Captain's Call or something. I don't think it's worth it. All right. Let's get to the place we all want to be. By the way, why is it Rix? Is the I for Ixalan or is the I for Rivals? Because it could be either. It truly could be either. Here's what we're talking about right now on this channel. We are talking about turn 4 hasty Ghaltas and turn 3 Ghaltas. That is no joke, folks. Did you guys figure out how to get out of turn 3 Ghalta yet? I'll give Chad a second to see. Turn 3 Ghalta. It's not hasty. We are one, according to my calculations, we are 1 mana off from a hasty turn 3 Ghalta. No.
To show you one of the movies that you could watch.
Yep, the red green Udapec Huntsmaster is turn 4, but how do you get a turn 3? Okay, so the turn 4 is turn 4 hasty Gulta is not it's pretty easy to pull off. You can just do it. There's probably a few ways you can do it. One of the keys to all these is this guy, Wayward Swordtooth. Raptor Companion's an interesting idea. Does that work? Turn 1 collar. Turn 2. Sun Petal? What's the Sun Petal? I mean, listen, getting the turn 3 Gulta is not going to be sweet, so don't get your hopes up like you're going to be playing a lot of turn 3 Gultas. Are you talking about 2 Raptor Companions, just normal Raptor Companions? Wait. What is that guy called? I thought it was Ixalan's Diviner, but that's the green guy. Kinjali. I was calling the wrong people. No, this is good. This is what I wanted. I wanted other people's ideas. Double Raptor Companion. Another companion, and then Gulta. So that gives you 9. Nine toughness. So you only need 3. The problem with this, well, let's see. How could you do it? I guess if you went, no. I think what doesn't work with this is that you don't have double green. Oh, I guess we have, if you have the untapped Sun Petal Grove, that's what you were talking about. Yep. That's exactly what you're talking about. All right, now it all makes sense. All right. Here was how I was going to get out turn 3 Gulta. It's turn 2 Drover, turn 3 Wayward Swordtooth. You may need to play an additional land, but here's the secret sauce, and it's pretty gross, so you guys probably won't like it. Turn 1, Old Growth Dryad. That's 3 power on turn 1. Turn 2, you play the Drover. That's 6 power and 2 lands. Turn 3, you play the Wayward Swordtooth. Play another land off of it, and then you have double green for Ghalta, and you are at 11, 12 power. So that gets you there. If you replace the Drover with the Odapek, I think we get to 11. This gives us 3. This gives us 4. This costs 1 less. So we still have 1 untapped land. Then we play another land. We have 2 untapped lands, both for double green. And our power is at 5, 8, 9, and we -1 is 10. 12? Is that there? 4 lands. Our power is 8, 9, 10. I think that's it. This might be a hasty turn 3 Ghalta. Assuming you go something like Forest, Mountain, and then 2 forests on turn 2. Well, if you play Wayward Swordtooth, you can play an additional land from your hand. You need to play two lands, right? The Wayward Swordtooth costs 1 less, so you pay 2, and then you have the 1 land for turn 3 and the 1 land for turn 4. I mean, for the additional drop from Wayward Swordtooth, which is double green. And then we're at 8, 9, 10, 12. I think that's it. Holy moly, folks. I was thinking about this until now. I didn't think I had the calculations. Oh, let's not talk percentages. We are not here to talk percentages. We're talking about turn 3 hasty 12-12 tramplers. The dream. I don't know. This was the most tech I really had for you guys today. Never tell me the odds exactly. I think it works. I think it freaking works, and it's super frightening. All of a sudden, turn 1 Old Growth Dryads are going to be terrifying to me. This is a possible hand. If you're playing 4 of all these, this is possible. I don't really suggest playing 4 of Ghalta, but if your whole plan is to try to do a turn 3 Ghalta, then you probably play 4. And we would also be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're getting pretty close to ascend. How many cards is this? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you would have 10 cards by then. So you could actually have 2 extra cards, or maybe 11 if you're on the draw. I think a turn 3 Ghalta is pretty good, especially on the play. It's definitely a good challenge day. Sit around trying to get this to happen. Good old growth Dryad getting the job done. But I like CGB's version too if you guys want to play green-white instead of red-green. Of course, the red gives you the haste. Rootbound Crag is also, you know, an untapped land, so you got that going for you. But this is scary, man. Vona's Hunger is not going to get you out of this. Fiery Cannonade is not going to get you out of this. You need a targeted removal on turn 3 with instant speed. There really is nothing. That Galt is coming in for 12 on turn 3. Or it's still coming in and getting partially mitigated. Turn 4, you could play Vraska's Contempt or something, but he's already swung for 12. They will have extra mana. They have 2 extra mana, right? Don't you get 2 or you just get 1? Oh, but you ramp it. It just goes on the battlefield. Yeah. It's a high-risk maneuver, but I don't think I'm playing Old Growth Dryad any other time, so this seems okay. Turn 4, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can play the ramp card. You can do more Drovers, more Huntsmasters, or whatever. But this is the turn 3 hasty Ghalta combo, folks. Please don't play it against me. All right, what time is it? We're doing okay. So I do want to talk about mono green dinosaurs because I think they're pretty good. Let's look at it, rivals. What am I looking for here? I think you play ramp in this one. I just can't find that ramp spell. Thunderherd Migration. Which is an awesome name, by the way. Take out Old Growth Dryad. You're playing things like Thrashing Brontodon. I would say 4 Drovers and the 4 of the Thunderherd Migration. In your 2-drop slot. Definitely playing Commune. The Thunderherd Migration works well with the Wayward Swordtooth for getting you to ascend. Treasure to get faster mana. Yeah, Treasure's interesting. Treasure's really good at getting to ascend. You could play Cherished. What have you? Hatchling. This might be, you might have 12 1-drops. Casting Ghalta off Flash, by the way, or off Cherished Hatchling, seems pretty good. Yeah, Beast was talking about this early. Definitely want to run Savage Stomp. I don't love Pounce, but it might be what you have to do. What else we got in green? You know what you might do is play something like Vraska. I know we're talking mono green dinosaurs, but oh god, can't forget Carnage Tyrant, can we? That's kind of the big payoff. The top end is pretty nice. Deathgord Scavenger I like, and Ripjaw Raptor, of course, could go in here. It looks like our 3 slot is filling up pretty fast. I don't think we're running New Horizons unless you're just going full green. And the New Horizons is a possibility if you're going full ramp. I don't know how beneficial it will be to go like super ramp over just playing really decent cards on turn 3 or turn 4. But maybe if you want to do Polyraptor stuff. Okay. That's it. Like Crushing Canopy you might have to play, or like a Plummet, depending on what other people are playing. But you might just go big and do something like Crash the Ramparts here. Ranging Raptors is definitely a possibility. I don't know. There's a lot of good green. The question is, will it be worth it to go mono green? Does mean you can run Field of Ruin. Does mean you can run Arch of Erazka. I don't really like Ravenous Daggertooth. You might try to run something like Shaper's Sanctuary. Or Thundering Spineback might be okay. Or Verdant Sun's Avatar. I feel like Verdant Sun's Avatar and Thundering Spineback are more on the full ramp version. But they could make the cut. +1/+1 does help you against those mirror matches or against other dinosaurs. Cruiser says he likes Shaper's Sanctuary. In draft for sure. But the 1-drop slot in Dinos has always been pretty terrible, so I'm excited to maybe put 8 1-drops in there. Can I put Snapping Snailback? I don't think Snapping makes it. That's in more of an Enrage deck. Anything else for green from Rick's? You could do the Crested Herd Caller, but if you have to play Crested Herd Caller, then maybe you're not doing the right thing. You could play Jade Light Ranger, though. I wouldn't be opposed to Jade Light Ranger. That's about it. I don't know. That's a lot of cards. That's 60 cards. How it matches up against Naya dinosaurs or red-green dinosaurs or green-white, I don't know. Yep, Regisaur Galta works. Turn 4 Reggie, turn 5 Galta. I mean, that might just be the safer way. It's not really possible to get a turn 3 Regisaur. Turn 4 Regisaur is the fastest you can do. Doesn't have controller support. Who's using controllers to play Magic, though? Oh, the caller. I always forget about that turn 1 caller. So that's Naya. That's rough. That's rough. To have to play a white card turn 1 to play a red-green card turn 3. That's a bit rough. I don't know. One second, and I think we're going to wrap up the stream pretty soon. You can play Magic with just one hand. Gotta have your priorities, that's for sure. Yeah, you know what? I tried to play the beta of the first, what's one of those Star Wars games, Battlefront? And I was playing with a controller, and I was like, how are these people shooting me so well? I can't aim worth a damn. And then I realized that they were on mouse and keyboard, and it's much easier to aim with a mouse and keyboard than it is with the controller. I felt a little stupid, but by then the beta was over anyway, so just let it go. I still don't have 4 Ripjaws. I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I think I covered most of the stuff I wanted to get through here. Once again, I will say if we don't get too many packs, enchantments are going to be strong until people get enough removal in their deck. Though there's a good amount of removal. Let's talk a little bit about Rick's removal here. Because there's a lot of good removal. Baffling End. 2-drop. This is pretty sweet for control decks. Let's not use numbers that we really shouldn't. I'm not sure we're supposed to know all those numbers. Baffling End. Grasp, is that something? No. Moment of Craving. I know why I call it Moment's Grasp because of Grasp of Despair, but Moment of Craving. Phone is Hunger. Slaughter the Strong. I mean, there's so much. We really just got a ton of removal. The card that pisses me off the most is the other red, though. The one that does 4 and 2. Bombard. It's instant speed. Oh, shoot. I just had it. Reckless Rage. Tillinali's Crown could be used as removal. What else did we get? We got Expel. It's not quite removal, but as far as blue goes, it's kind of removal. Is that it? Oh, Blazing Hope is worth mentioning. This can catch a turn 3 Hasty Galta. No, can't. You can kill it after it hits you. I'm not really going to mention Cleansing Ray or Divine Verdict or Luminous Bonds. I think those are all pretty meh. I think there's better stuff out there. I feel like I'm missing something in black. Boop boop boo doo doo doo. Golden Demise. I think it's worth mentioning. I saw people trying to play it in standard. I think that card is just too expensive, but we're mostly talking about rivals of Ixalan here. Ooh, can't forget the old Chupa. Reaver Ambush. I mean, the fact that they printed Reaver Ambush and we already have Vanquish the Weak means we basically have twice the amount of removal at that spot. That's a lot. I think that's about it. I don't think green or blue has too much worth talking about. And I don't think there's any multicolored removal. But still, this is a lot of removal they added to the set. And a lot of it is good. Moment of Crazing, Baffling End, Vona's Hunger, Slaughter the Strong, Chupacabra. Those cards are all very strong. It's a scary world out there, folks, for you putting enchantments on things. Still almost always worth it for Curious Obsession. I'm liking that card more and more daily. I'm really excited to see how Slaughter the Strong works out, because this card is a beast. And it seems like it can do a lot of good work. And it's 3-drop slot. So just in case you can't make it to Settle, if you're going to be dead before Settle, Slaughter the Strong certainly helps in that case. Yeah. Removal's good. I'm excited for this set. I think we're going to wrap it up here. All right.